Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into a pretty cool concept today, longevity hubs.
Yeah, this is a good one.
So we're talking about regions around the world that are basically turning, well, the challenges and opportunities that come with aging, they're turning those into like engines for innovation and, economic growth.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got a sneak peek into a new book called Longevity Hubs, Regional Innovation for Global Aging. It's by Dr. Joe Coughlin from MIT AgeLab.
Very cool.
And get this, we're going to be talking about some seriously awesome examples like, get this, Boston becoming a Silicon Valley for octogenarians.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And also how places like Dubai, Sao Paulo, and even, get this, virtual networks are kind of getting in on the action.
It's really incredible how this concept, it really flips the script, when we think about innovation.
For sure.
Like when you hear that word, what do you think of?
Right.
And Dr. Coughlin, he actually points this out in the book, talking about how most people, they picture, spectacle-wearing people clinking test tubes in labs or sneaker-clad coders.
Yeah.
So different.
But what I think is so interesting about Coughlin's work is that he shows how the aging population, it's actually driving innovation in a really big way.
Absolutely. Think about it. The needs, the desires, everything about this rapidly growing aging population, it's creating this massive new market.
Right.
So you've got businesses and researchers and governments, everybody's scrambling to understand this, to cater to this whole new demographic.
It's huge. And I was really interested to learn how this whole idea of longevity hubs actually came about. Did you know it actually started with an article in Inc. magazine about Boston?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was a good one.
It was really interesting. And so the article, it really caught the eye of Dr. Coughlin and his colleague Luke Quinto at MIT AgeLab. And they started to, notice all of these pockets of innovation in Boston that were focused on aging.
Right.
From huge companies, Fortune 500, to these tiny little startups, government agencies, research centers, you name it.
That's so cool.
And I think they kind of had this moment wait a minute.
Right.
Something really interesting is happening here.
For sure.
And it's amazing because that little, spark of an idea, it led to, a series of articles in the Boston Globe.
Wow.
And then finally, culminated in this whole book.
That's amazing.
It is. But I have a question for you and for everyone listening too. Have you ever really thought of aging as a catalyst for economic growth? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. It might seem counterintuitive at first.
Yeah.
But Dr. Coughlin, he argues that regions that are really embracing their aging populations, they're actually gaining this competitive advantage.
Right.
Yeah, they're meeting these, unique needs of this demographic and creating jobs and driving innovation and just boosting their economies in all these ways, in ways that benefit everybody.
So it's not just helping, older people, it's actually helping everyone in the region.
Right.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And, the book is just packed with examples, from all over the world. He talks of Dubai, Louisville, Newcastle, Milan, Sao Paulo, Tel Aviv, and then there are these whole regions in Japan and Thailand.
Wow.
It's truly global.
Yeah, it is. And what's really fascinating is that these hubs, they're not just addressing local needs.
Right.
They're creating products and services that are having a national and even an international impact.
That's huge.
Take Aging 2.0, for example. It's this global network of innovators, and they're all focused on aging.
That is so cool.
And it's featured prominently in the book.
That's a great example because it shows how even virtual networks, they can function like these longevity hubs, bringing people together no matter where they are.
Yeah.
To collaborate, come up with solutions for an aging population.
It really is. It's a perfect example of how this concept, it's like breaking down geographical boundaries. It's not about, a specific location.
I see.
It's really about a mindset.
Yeah.
This collaborative approach.
Yeah.
Tackling the challenges and the opportunities that come with aging.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And speaking of, diverse approaches, one thing that I noticed, Sao Paulo is included as a longevity hub.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so interesting to me because, Brazil is actually highlighted in the book.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a great example of how a city in a developing country, they're not only, addressing the needs of their aging population, they're actually becoming a leader in this whole aging innovation thing.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. And what's really impressive is their approach. It's very multifaceted. It involves the government, but also these grassroots movements.
Right. So it's like top down and bottom up at the same time.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And the book highlights a really compelling example of this, the Aging 2.0 chapter in Brazil.
Oh, good.
It's led by Williams Fiore.
Okay.
And it really showcases how people, they're taking ownership of their aging experience.
Mm.
And they're creating these solutions that benefit not just them, but like their whole community.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And this chapter in Brazil, it just shows how powerful it can be when people are empowered to drive that innovation themselves from within their own communities. Right. They're not just waiting around for solutions.
They're taking charge.
They're shaping their own future.
I love that. It's so inspiring. And it's a great reminder that these longevity hubs, they're not just about top-down initiatives. It's about this grassroots movement, this entrepreneurial spirit.
It really is. It's about recognizing that older adults, they're not just passive recipients of care.
Right.
They're active agents of change.
For sure.
They have the experience, the wisdom, the passion to drive innovation.
Yeah.
To create this better future for everyone.
Yeah, I love that. And it all comes back to that really powerful statement from Dr. Coughlin. He says, aging isn't a problem to solve. It's the next great opportunity.
That's good. It really makes you think differently about aging,
Yeah.
Instead of seeing it as a burden or a problem,
Right.
What if we thought about it as, something creative
Right.
with all this innovation?
Totally. And the book shows how these longevity hubs are already doing that.
Yeah.
They're not just focused on healthcare or, senior living. They're thinking about everything: finance, technology, transportation, urban design.
It's really about creating this world that works for everyone, right?
Right.
Not just separating older adults into an aging industry or something.
Right.
It's about integrating aging into everything.
Yeah, it's part of society,
Exactly.
And I think it's amazing, the different people involved. The book has insights from CEOs and innovators and thought leaders, people from different industries, NGOs, universities, governments.
Wow.
It's a lot.
It really shows how collaborative this is. It's
Yeah.
not just one group driving it. It's
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. All these different perspectives coming together.
Exactly.
And this whole idea of collaboration, it reminds me of Aging 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool how they created this online space,
Yeah.
where people can connect and share ideas.
No matter where they are.
Doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Exactly. It really shows how powerful technology can be.
Yeah.
To break down those barriers and, connect people.
Yeah.
But what's really impressive is that these connections, they're actually leading to real change.
Right.
A lot of these hubs, they're creating products and services that are helping people nationally and even internationally.
Right. And the book, it doesn't just talk about the good stuff. It also talks about the challenges, the need for affordable housing and, transportation that's easy to use, technology that's designed for older people.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
But it's not like it just focuses on the problems, you know.
Right.
It talks about how these hubs are actually finding solutions.
Yeah.
And turning these challenges into opportunities.
For growth and progress.
I think one thing that really stood out to me was how important it is to create these environments where older people feel like they belong.
Yeah. A sense of community.
Yeah, it's not just about providing services. It's about making people feel like they're valued.
Absolutely. We need to move past this idea of just taking care of older people.
Right.
It's about giving them the power to live full lives,
Right.
active lives. And that means creating opportunities for them to, contribute their skills and experience and stay connected to their community.
Right. They have so much to offer.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to the idea that these longevity hubs, they're not just for older people. They're about creating a better future for everybody.
Exactly. Because we're all aging, right?
Right.
What helps older people today, it's going to help all of us eventually.
Exactly. It's about creating a society where it's good to live a long life.
Right. A healthy life.
Yeah.
A fulfilling life, no matter how old you are.
It's so nice to see this positive way of thinking about aging.
Yeah.
For so long, it's been all about the negative stuff.
Yeah.
The strain on healthcare or the cost,
Yeah, it's a bad thing.
But this book, it's different.
It is.
It shows a future where getting older is a good thing.
Yeah, where it's a source of like energy and new ideas.
It really makes you think differently about your own role in all of this, you know?
Yeah.
Like instead of thinking about aging as something that just happens to you,
Right.
what if it's a chance to keep growing and learning and doing new things?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, what could we do in our own communities to make this happen?
Right. Like, what could we do to become a longevity hub?
Yeah. What are we good at?
Yeah. What do we have that we could use to create a place where it's good to grow old?
That's a good question. Maybe there's, like, a lot of tech companies where we live.
Yeah.
And they could start focusing on technology for older people.
That's a good idea. Or maybe we have a strong community, you know?
Yeah.
Where people really care about each other.
Right.
And we could build on that.
I think there are a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, there really are. And the best part is these innovations, they don't just help older people.
Right.
They make life better for everyone.
That's a good point. Like, imagine cities that are easy to get around.
Yeah.
For everyone.
And transportation systems that work for people with different needs.
Yeah.
And technology that helps people stay independent and connected no matter how old they are.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does.
I'm excited to be a part of it. And I hope this whole conversation has given you some ideas too.
Me too.
I feel like, we're really starting to see this big change in how we think about aging.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like we're moving away from being scared of it,
Mm-hmm.
and starting to see it as something positive.
Yeah, something that can be good.
And all these longevity hubs, they're showing us how to do that.
Yeah.
Like aging can be a time for new ideas and creativity.
Right.
And one of the things that's so cool about this whole movement is that it's not just happening in like big cities or rich countries.
Yeah, that's true.
Sao Paulo in Brazil is a perfect example.
It really is.
It shows that this is happening all over the world.
Yeah, innovation can happen anywhere.
And the Aging 2.0 chapter in Brazil, led by Williams Fiore, it really proves that.
Yeah, it shows that it's not about where you are or how much money you have.
It's about having a good idea and working together to make it happen.
Exactly. And the fact that Williams Fiore is highlighted in the book, it means people are noticing what's happening in Brazil.
It's pretty amazing. Like this simple idea of connecting people who care about aging innovation, it can make such a difference.
Yeah, it shows how important it is to have a network, to connect with other people.
It's not enough to just have a good idea. You need people to support you.
Yeah, you need resources, you need help.
And that's why these longevity hubs are so important.
Yeah, they provide that support system.
They bring people together so they can share ideas and help each other.
Right. And I think one of the most important things we've talked about today is that we can all be part of making the world a better place for older people.
It's not just up to the government or big companies.
It's about each of us asking, what can I do to help?
Right, like in our own communities with our own families and friends.
Exactly. And it starts with changing how we think about aging.
Instead of being afraid of it, we need to see it as a natural part of life.
Yeah, and realize that older people have a lot to offer.
They have experience, they have wisdom, they have different ways of looking at things.
And we need to create a society where everyone, no matter how old they are, feels valued and respected.
I don't know about you, but I feel really inspired after talking about all of this.
Yeah, me too. It's given me a whole new perspective on aging.
It makes me excited about the future.
And if you're interested in learning more, I definitely recommend checking out Dr. Coughlin's book, Longevity Hubs, Regional Innovation for Global Aging. It comes out on November 19th.
And don't forget to look for that Goodreads giveaway that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you might be able to get a free copy.
That's right. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
We'll see you next time. Stay curious and keep those brains buzzing.